If you want more content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell on blackfilm.com's YouTube page. I'm Ellen with blackfilm.com, and I'm joined by the Vernon Davis. We are chatting about his transition from the NFL to Hollywood, existing and upcoming film projects, and anything else he might want to add. Welcome to the blackfilm.com stage.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I was excited to do this interview because of your inspiring journey. You've had an incredible career in the NFL, 14 seasons to be exact, right?
Yeah, I played 14 years.
Yes, and so you retired from football at the end of the 1920 season, and that's one hell of a decision to make, especially when you're at the height of your career. What actions or emotions prompted that shift?
You know, when I was playing with the San Francisco 49ers, I enrolled myself in a class at the Shelton Theater of Art. And from there, I just fell in love. I said, I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is a great journey. I love the process of breaking down a script and just taking that journey and intertwining your life, your real life situations that you've been through into the work. So it's just the art of it all, just the process. It um, really just grabbed my attention, and I love it.
And so it's not something necessarily that started from childhood. It started in that moment, or had you had dreams and aspirations of getting into film at some point as a young kid?
I think it's one of those things. I felt myself engaging in the arts when I was a kid. And I think the simple fact that I changed my major in college from criminal justice to art studio and opened up an art gallery upon arriving in San Francisco, it all kind of correlates. You know,
Right.
once you work that side of the brain, which is the artistic side, I mean, you can do anything. You never know what will happen in that space. So I tell myself all the time, if I can be an actor, maybe I can sing,
That's right. You
maybe
can
I
do
could,
anything.
maybe I, maybe, maybe I can do other things. I don't know. But it's like I said, the journey's been nothing but amazing.
That's really great to hear. And how soon after that shift did you embark on your second act? And I love the fact that you even can say that you have a second act that you're passionate about. So, what were some of the things you sort of dove into once you made that shift?
You know, I started getting more. I found an agent, and I had him put me on shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway, and The League, and
Mhm.
just finding opportunities to really express myself.
Okay.
And I did that, and then after I retired with the Washington football team, I already had a plan in place. I met a guy named Marcus Smoot, and he had a script, and he was like, "You'd be perfect for it." I read it, fell in love with it, and we made it. We made that film, and then I made another one with my other partner, Deshaun Hardy. Uh, Message from Brianna. Made that one, entered it into the um, African American Film Festival,
Yeah.
and they accepted it. And it's just the journey of just evolving, and then continuing to take on more roles with Morgan Freeman, Bruce Willis, and Kevin Dillon. It's been a learning process for me too, because I've engaged those guys, and just kind of watched them, and just learned, and there's no better way to learn than learn from the best.
Absolutely. So you've been blessed, booked and blessed, that is. Congrats to you. I'm so glad you brought up a message from Brianna because that's you produced the first film you've produced. Is that right?
Yes.
And so what was it about that project that made you say, you know what, I want to be a part of this, not, on the back end?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool project. I never seen a script like that where you had an African American family dealing with possession, and I knew it was going to be a journey because there were so many different parallels in that script where I mean, being afraid, and just everything, being happy, just the emotional roller coaster of of that script. It was so dynamic, and I wanted to take that journey. I wasn't afraid. I was willing to be vulnerable,
Mm.
and do it, take on the role. It was, like I said, it was a great process. I learned a lot about myself, um, and it was just cool to be a part of such a cool project.
I got the pleasure to watch the trailer, and it looks good and it looks scary. That soundtrack, though, like what brought on, the idea to give it that urban hip hop vibe? Because that was one of the things that pulled me in and made me excited to watch the film, outside from the storyline and the actors in it.
You know what? It was just, we just went with our guts and how we felt. We felt like it needed something cool, something urban, hip
Mm.
hop. Because like I said, it was the first time it was probably, like I said, I've never seen an African American family deal with possession. So we wanted to kind of give it that urban feel, because we felt like it was a special script, it was a special project, and we kind of just went with our gut feelings on that.
I love that you mentioned that you grew a lot from this project. Can you talk a bit about like what that growth looks like?
I think like, so every movie, every film that you do, you find different things about yourself. You connect to different things. You find different tools. You explore, and you find that uh, acting is all about impulse. Like there was a scene in the movie where the first scene, I was sitting down and we were talking about, the doctor called us about our daughter, and the first scene, it was like, I was like, oh, this is good news, and then the second time we did it, I started crying.
Mm.
I felt something else. The first time it didn't feel right. I said I felt like there was something missing. So when I went in, I didn't plan it. None of it was expected. It was just, I just started feeling feeling that, and I created a moment in my life where I was in a certain situation, and it brought on those tears. So it's just, like I said, it's just finding those different moments throughout the script that you can really relate to, because that's all it is, just being able to relate to that dialogue and relate to what's really going on within that scene. So it's like I said, the journey has just been like truly amazing to be able to connect with those things. It's therapeutic.
Right.
It's very therapeutic.
I can imagine. And so, a message from Brianna, it's a supernatural horror thriller, and you play the father of a 2-year-old girl who becomes a terrifying messenger from the other side, right?
Right.
Wow. Okay. And yeah, that trailer definitely pulled me in on many levels. And so you brought up vulnerability earlier, and that's one of the things I appreciate and respect about actors, the willingness to be vulnerable. Was that something that was easy for you to lean into? Did it come naturally, or did it take some mental and emotional rehearsing, if you will?
I think it's something that just happens over time,
Okay.
because it's not every day you wake up and you find yourself in a situation where you have to go out and perform in that kind of way. You have to be afraid. You have to be you have to be sad. You have to be willing to show fear. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
there's a lot of ups and downs depending on what kind of project you're working on. But to be able to do that, it just shows my growth and where I'm at and where I'm headed. Because this is all new for me. This is still
Hmm.
new. I mean, I've only been doing this consistently for a year and a half.
Wow.
So there's a lot of room, and I think about it. I'm like, wow, I've done 9 projects, 9 movies in a
In
year
a
and a half.
year.
Huh?
In a year.
In a year and a half.
Yikes, that's kind of dope. That's inspiring on so many levels. Like it
Yeah,
sounds like that's all you've been doing. Like you dove into this with your whole self and all your time.
yeah. I mean, like I said, like, you know how it is. It's like one of those things you don't really think about it. I didn't think about it until someone brought it to my attention. They were like, "Ah, she did 9 projects," and I'm like, "Wow, yeah, I never really thought about that. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy." But it goes to show you, if you're enjoying something, you're having fun. You're not really thinking. You're not thinking. And everything in life, if you want to be good or you want to be great, especially if you want to be great at something, you have
Right.
to sacrifice something. And I was talking
Exactly.
to somebody about that the other day. You sacrifice something. You just you do it. You put the time in. You put the energy. But just know that you're leaving. There's something over there that you're forgetting, right? But it's
Yep.
okay. It's all about, if you're forgetting it. It's all about how you react and how you respond to making sure you prioritize and get what you left back. Get it back. You
Yeah.
know.
I love that. Because it doesn't really feel like work if it's something you're passionate and focused on.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
So you're set to star in the indie thriller Muti. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Is it Muti?
Oh, Muti, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that's alongside Cole Hauser and Oscar winner Morgan Freeman. Could you talk a bit about what the film is about? Do you play the protagonist or are you an antagonist?
I'm the antagonist. I'm the guy who's going around. Um,
You're the bad
yeah,
guy?
I'm the guy who's going around killing everyone. I'm
Okay.
the bad guy. I'm the guy that Morgan Freeman. So Muti is based on a real story. Like South Africa, there's this tribe called Sangoma tribe, and what they do is they take parts, they harvest parts of. I know it's really crazy, but it brings light to what's going on.
Mm,
But they're taking the body parts of young kids, young adults, right, young people, and they're harvesting these parts and they're selling them to the likes of corporate America, like guys who want to feel powerful, right?
mm,
Um, and they create this harvest. They take this harvest and create it into a form of a drink, like a tea, right?
okay.
And when they drink it, they feel powerful. So my character has to go out and find these different things, whether it's eyes, hearts, and brains, and he's working for this corporate guy. So Morgan Freeman is the college professor who
Okay.
knows all about this practice. So the detectives, Cole Hauser, they go to Morgan to try to figure out how to stop me and try to figure out what I'm doing.
That sounds crazy and interesting. Wow. So
Yeah,
that's pretty intense considering it's based on true events that are going on in South Africa. And
yeah.
so when does that come out, or are you in the process of
I
wrapping that
think it's
up?
already. I think it will. I believe it comes out in April of 2022.
22. Okay.
Yeah, it should come out around April 2022. And I went to the producer and I asked him. I said, dude, you've never seen me work anything. You never seen me act. I said, why did you give me such a difficult role in this movie? You didn't know if I could do this. I mean, this is challenging. I mean, that's a challenging role.
It's
I
intense.
thought about it. I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's
And what
crazy.
did
It's
he
challenging.
say? What did he say?
He said he told me that he seen my acting reel
Okay.
and he felt like I could do it because he
Mm,
watched the different places I went in my with my reel, and he said that I knew you could do it. I believed in you.
wow.
Mm.
That's saying something about your skills. So I'm I'm looking forward to watching that film as well. Like I said, it sounds really interesting. So, though acting is your main passion, you've also founded two production companies, Real 85 and Between the Lines Productions. I appreciate the company names because I recognize that they're connected to NFL in your career. So, can you talk a bit about those production companies and your goal with them?
Yeah, I founded Real 85 Productions based on my jersey number 85,
85.
and it was just I don't know, it's just something I always find myself trying to be creative, and it just made sense because my just having that attachment to where I started. It reminds me of where I started
Right.
and where I came from, because you have to remember those things. And then Between the Lines Productions came from just being in between the lines. When you're playing football, you're in between. You have to be in between the lines, and then the correlation with that is the script, the pages that you're on. Everything's in between the lines, so it all correlates and goes together. Just
It,
trying to think outside the box with
that,
that.
that, that's pretty genius on your part.
Yeah,
And so, why two companies as opposed to
because they so the Real 85 Productions is company just solely me, something I started. I wanted to create coming out of the gates, and then Between the Lines is a partner of mine, Deshaun Hardy, where we have all our content that we've come up with, the scripts, the the docu series, the series, and just everything, all kinds of things.
So the message from Brianna is under Between the Lines Productions then.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And so I'm going to segue just for 2 seconds. Have you found any similarities between football and film and TV in terms of game planning and strategy?
Yeah, it's all based on preparation, and the preparation that I used to put in with football. It was like I would be the last one out there on the field, and I just had this I don't know it created this behavior in me where I had to get it right. I couldn't leave that field until I caught 200 balls, and it felt right. You know
Mm,
what I mean? It was just the process, the work that you put in, getting up in the morning, having the routine in the afternoon, having the routine, and at night having the routine. And with the preparation and being an actor, I have a similar routine. You know, I get up in the morning, I'm reading my dialogue, getting all my dialogue down. In the afternoon, I get it down, and at night, I have a process of going over it over and over and over, and then just staying consistent to the craft, like having a coach in football, right? A trainer.
Yeah.
You train day in, day out, all year round. That's how I try to be with my coaching. You know, I have an acting coach that I've been working with since I retired from football. We work Tuesdays and Thursdays all year round. You know, unless something comes up and he has something to do. So there's the similarities. There's the process of just being consistent and diligent to the craft.
Nice. And so what would be your ideal role to act in?
Gosh, my ideal role to act in would be maybe play some kind of superhero, a hero with just has something different. He has something about him. Maybe he's like um, scientific, or he works in the lab all day, but he's a superhero. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just something different, something I don't know. I like getting into those characters. During the quarantine, I created all these skits where I would play different characters. I'll be the same person playing different characters, and it kind of and now that I look at my career and some of the roles that I've taken on, they're different characters. Like the Malkovich movie, Chariot, that I was in. I play this character who takes care of zoo turtles. He's telekinetic. He moves things with his mind. He's really weird and creepy, twitchy. You know what I mean? He has no hair on his face. He's his only job is to get these turtles to reproduce, but they won't. They won't mate. They're not intimate. And so he's very sad. His life is messed up. He can't get these turtles to reproduce. I mean, he has girlfriend issues. I mean, he can't find a girl. I mean, he lives by himself. He's always by himself. And so, but this guy, he's very nice. He don't want to hurt anyone.
Right.
So when you go in his apartment, you find that everything's bubble wrapped. You know, everything's bubble wrapped because he don't want to. If he hurts himself, he starts to tap into his powers, and if he taps into his powers, he starts to hurt people.
Okay.
So whenever he feels pain, he take Advil. He pops Advil and Tylenol to ease the pain, so that he won't hurt anyone.
That sounds like an interesting script right there. That sounds crazy.
Can you imagine? You see, this dude has so much going on. There's so much. I mean, when you look at him, he's just like, he's always upset. You know, he's just like, he's a weird dude.
He sounds like a layered, complicated, weird dude. But those are the best type of characters. I
love
think.
it. That's
right?
the kind of stuff I like. I like that stuff. That's the stuff I like.
And so that's The Chariot, and you're in that with John Malkovich. You're also in 2 films with Bruce Willis, Gasoline Alley and A Day to Die. Now, how dynamic were those characters for you?
Those characters, Gasoline Alley and Day to Die was those characters. Oh, they're totally different because Day to Die was like a guy who was, I thought of him as like a ex-football player, just, you know, great personality, always got some humor with him. He's just a bright guy who's very very passionate and confident, right? And he loves being around his guys. You know, tough guy. And then you have Gasoline Alley, who I'm playing, this bouncer who's just, you know, just always serious, hardcore, you know, just a bouncer, just protecting his space. You know, nobody's coming through here. You always got his shoulders up, just to, you know.
Yeah, I got
bouncer working for a bad guy.
Oh, okay. I'm really loving the range with your characters because it's gonna show just how far you can go as an actor. And I mean, and that's all you can really ask for in terms of being able to identify, like, is this guy a good actor? Range has everything to do with that. So bravo to you for making your passion and your dream happen. Any advice for those that might be apprehensive to leave behind what feels comfortable to them in order to pursue their passion? Any gems you can drop?
Yeah, I think just going for whatever it is that you want, not being afraid, because you can't be afraid of failure. You know, failure only makes you better. If you fail, you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. And I've always been one of those guys, and even me, like, I tell a story about me going out on game day and being having fear that I'm going to drop the ball. Something's going to happen. I'm not going to catch the passes that my quarterback's throwing to me. It's just not going to happen. I have those thoughts and ideas, and so it kind of makes me like, really just tight and not loose. But those were the games that I went out and had my best games. I had 180 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. You know what I mean? So every time we think of something, that doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. It's just your mind playing tricks on you, and it's always going to be that way for until the end of time. So you have to understand that and know that those things that you feel really there to help you perform at the highest level. So, take chances, don't be afraid, and hope for the best.
Beautiful. What's next for Vernon Davis? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I think the next thing for me is, gosh, continuing to work on these things that I have on the table, the projects, all the ideas that I came up with, the ideas that are in place, planting seeds, and yeah, just getting ready to take it on. Just take it on, everything that's been planted, and just seeing it come into fruition.
Nice. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with blackfilm.com. Happy holidays to you. I'm wishing you even more prosperous new year coming up. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks. This has been great. This is an awesome show you have here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.